I'm Chris with the Common Humanity Collective. In this video, I'm going to go over the main components of our DIY air purifier, and that way you'll have an idea what each component does. And so if you're making something at home, and you don't have exactly the same parts as we do, you'll have something that functions similarly in the end. Now, there's a lot of examples online of people just taping an air filter to the back of a box fan, and that totally works. But we'll go over how our design has a few other pieces that make it a little more efficient and a little more practical. At the most basic level, this device takes dirty air from the back, pulls it through an air filter, which will move those particulate contaminants, and expels clean air out the front. So we'll start with the heart of the device, this box fan. I believe this is a Lasco B20201 model. It's an inexpensive device. You can probably pick one up for less than $20. It has these rotating fan blades that generates high pressure in front and low pressure behind those rotating blades. So let's move to the back of the device. We have an air filter. This is a 20-inch by 20-inch by 2-inch MERV 13 filter. 20-inch by 20-inch just happens to fit conveniently on the back of a typical box fan. A 2-inch deep filter will provide you with more surface area compared to a 1-inch filter. There's a couple of reasons why that's desirable. With more surface area, you have less resistance. You can increase flow through the filter. Think about breathing through a small straw versus a big straw. Similar idea. And the other reason why it might last a little bit longer, because you simply have more filtration media to catch more particles before it gets clogged up. So as I mentioned, we're working with a MERV 13 filter. That stands for Minimum Efficiency Reporting Values. And it goes from low to high, where higher values mean that the filter will catch smaller particles. And so MERV 13 happened to be a good balance between not catching enough of these small particles that are found in smoke and having too much resistance. So if you have a really tight filter, it's hard to pull air through that. So MERV 13 is kind of a nice balance. We don't want to overwork the fan, but we also want to catch the smoke particles. So you'll notice another problem that we encountered was that due to the rounded corners of a typical box fan, it left some of the edges, the corners of the filter exposed if it was on the back. And so we don't want that because air can just simply leak around the filter since there's lower resistance through that path and into the fan and out the front. So we need to block those off. And to do that, we just use some self-adhesive stickers cut into little triangles to seal off those corners. So we talked about the fan and the filter. Now we're going to talk about what's in between them. So I'm going to have you come in a little closer to take a look at this. We have a 1/2-inch wide vinyl foam tape. This is sold as weather stripping, usually used to seal windows and doors. In here, the spongy material is great for filling any little gaps that occur between the rigid fan body and the frame of the air filter to block any of those leaks. Because again, any little gap will leave a space where air can rush in around the filter rather than through it. So this weather stripping, which goes all the way around and forms a nice seal, is how we avoid those leaks around the edges. So let's move to the front of the device, where we have a cardboard cutout called a shroud. Now the shroud's purpose is to increase the overall efficiency of the device by making sure as much air passes from the back through the filter and out the front. It addresses a shortcoming of the design of the box fan, which is running a circular fan inside a square housing. And this geometry creates gaps in the corners between the fan blades and the frame of the fan itself. And so this is a problem because, as I said before, the rotating fan blades create high pressure in front and low pressure behind. So air will move from high pressure to low pressure, and if there's a gap like this, it can actually just move in through the front and just cycle around and swirl around and waste energy. So by blocking that off with the shroud, you prevent that sort of backwash effect and make sure that the flow is linear from the back to the front. Lastly, the filter is held onto the fan by these elastic silicone straps. And these are made by Graffiti. They're 12-inch by 3/4 inch, and when they're laid flat like this, they're pretty self-explanatory. They just hold it on. We chose this design because it makes it easier to replace the filter or simply take the filter off if you just want to use it as a box fan. There are a lot of people online who posted instructions. We just duct tape the filter to the back of the fan, which totally works. But if you want to remove the filter, you have the sticky tape and you're pulling it off, it might destroy the filter itself. It's just a pain to sort of switch them in and out. So with this design, it makes it a little more practical, a little bit more versatile for people to use. All right, thanks for watching. I hope you found this video to be useful as you make your own air purifier, and that's it. See you later.